Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, I will be doing a first look at the Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops Charlie Kilo 13 Tango Charlie Papa. What a name for a model, but we're going to take a look at it, so stay tuned. The Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops folding knife is a value-priced Chinese-made knife. It's a folder with a tonneau-style blade. It's hard to see here because it has this protector on it, just like Gerber does. This isn't really made by Smith & Wesson. It's distributed by Taylor Brands LCC. That company also distributes the Charade line of knives, so Charade and Smith & Wesson are distributed by Taylor Brands LCC. Quickly on the back, there's a lot of information here. It's all warranty information. And I went ahead and started reading this, and it actually said this is not the complete warranty. You have to go to the website to actually read the whole thing. So I did read it, and it's the typical limited warranty where if you abuse the knife, it's not going to be covered. Here in the YouTube community, people like to really put these knives through the test, and they'll do spine wax, and they'll also bang the back of the blade to see if the lock will fail. And in the warranty, it clearly states that it will not cover that at all. It says that the lock, whether it be the liner lock, frame lock, or back lock, is a additional feature meant to hold the blade open so it doesn't close on you. It's an additional feature. Kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and get this open. Now it's time for some first impressions. Just took it out of the box, and we'll go ahead and feel what it feels like. The first thing you'll notice is it's pretty light. It's only 2.7 ounces, so it doesn't have a lot of weight to it. It's probably very easy to carry. You barely know it's there. Here's a pocket clip. You can see that pocket clip comes up pretty far. So that can get deep into your pocket with no problem. It's pretty weak. If you hang upside down, this could come out of a pocket that has a thin fabric. So you might want to be careful with that. It does have a lanyard hole right there. Looks like 550 cord will fit through there with no problem. We have a open pillow design that is cost savings, as well as it makes it easy to clean. And we can see that this is a liner lock. We have dual thumb studs there. So the other thing I notice here is that you cannot move the clip to any other part of this knife. So it is tipped down, right-handed carry only. So let's go ahead and open this. Ooh. Okay, that is very, very stiff. As a matter of fact, let's listen to this. I'm going to hold this up to the mic. It's pretty stiff. That's nylon washers in there. So you don't have any bronze washers or anything like that that you would find in an expensive knife. This is a cheap knife, so typically you'll have nylon washers in there. Let's check lockup. Wow, lockup is very, very solid. Take a close look at that tonneau blade. It's obvious it's bee-blasted, plain edge. Again, let's look at those two thumb studs. Oh, we got some jimping up there. Let's see how that jimping feels. Wow, it's actually very functional, even though it doesn't look like much. You can see that it's not very deep at all, but because that bee blasting's on the spine of the blade up here also, it really, between the bee blasting and that jimping, it is pretty functional together. Let's check the feel out. It actually feels pretty comfortable. On a scale of 1 to 10, comfort is about I'd say a 7. You have a finger choil here. The liner doesn't dig into your hand like some do, but you have this edge right here. If you have big hands, you're going to feel that in your pinky a little bit, which I do. Let's see where the liner locks up. Okay, so you can see that it's about where you want it to be. It's not past the middle. It has some room to wear, which is good, but it is behind the blade where it should be, so it will be held pretty secure. So that's a very good place for out of the box a liner lock to be. I'm not a huge fan of liner locks, especially on the cheaper dice, because they really tend to make these liners very thin, but I don't see any buckling going on there, so it's pretty good. But I'm not going to do my customary whack the wood with this, only because that warranty sort of scared me a little bit, that they're calling the lockup a feature, an additional feature. So, and I don't have my gloves with me right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at blade centering really quick. It looks like it's spot on. Maybe slightly over in this direction. You could tell me. Looks like it's just slightly off, but it's not a problem because it's not rubbing against the liner anywhere. So it's fine. It's pretty close centered. I'm not going to complain about that. I notice here that the construction is all Torx screws. You have your Torx fasteners here and here, and then you have the pivot screw, which is hidden underneath the clip here, and it's a Torx also. So if you have to adjust the pivot screw in this, you have to take the clip off. Alright, now it's time for the paper test. So I got some paper here, and we'll go ahead and open this up, and there we go. We'll do it nice and slow, and it is sharp out of the box. There we go. So pretty good. Not the sharpest, but it's sharp enough to cut paper, so that's what I expect at a minimum from the factory. Let's talk about features. This knife features a blade made of 7 CR17 Chinese stainless steel. This is the equivalent to the American 440A stainless steel. Because it's bee-blasted, it's not going to have very good corrosion protection at all. It will be prone to rust, so you want to go ahead and make sure you keep a light coat of oil on this knife. Now, because it's the equivalent of 440A, it's in the middle as far as toughness and hardness, so it will take an edge fairly easily, but it will not hold it too long. Blade length is 3.3 inches, and it is a Tano style blade. Tano style blades are very good for stabbing. They make good penetrators, and they're very strong because of that design. Again, this is a liner lock. That liner lock does seem a little thin, but it seems to be holding it pretty good in accordance with its limited lifetime warranty. The scales, I have not talked about the scales at all. These scales are G10, which is pretty amazing for a knife at this price. The traction on this is fairly good. I mean, it's not super good. It's middle of the road kind of good. And again, lanyard hole is there. It will easily receive 550 cord. The weight is a very light 2.7 ounces. And the cost, an amazing price of just $15. I'll tell you what, I am going to go ahead and stab this old piece of wood, but I'm going to hold this in such a way that if it folds back on me, if the liner lock fails, I'm not going to get injured, even though I don't have gloves. I'm sort of holding it like that. And I'm going to go ahead and whack it in this piece of wood. Now this might get kind of loud because my mic is on the table here, but it'll make it more dramatic. Now you can see I hit that pretty hard. We'll see if I can get it to roll a little bit, and it's looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and do that again. Should give it a little twist there, and you can see the blade is unharmed. It held up surprisingly well. And let's go ahead and make sure we didn't get any blade play in there. And it's held up pretty good. So for a line of lock, for a $15 line of lock, it's done well. So next thing I want to do before we wrap this up is go ahead and actually put it in my pocket. And that comes out in and out very, very easy. Very easy. You can see how that just drops down. Watch. So it's not holding on to your pants pocket, and these are thicker jeans, so it does not hold on to it very well. But you can see it is very deep carry. But I wouldn't go, you know, if you're in a fight or a brawl rolling around on the ground, this could definitely come out of your pocket. So actually for a $10 knife, I would definitely recommend it. For a $15 knife, I think I would pretty much most of the way recommend it. It's not a bad knife. Pretty cool. It's nice that you get G10 scales. The blade steel is typical of an inexpensive value knife, and it seems to be pretty strong, thick enough stock to do what it needs to do. It did not fold up. Or another characteristic of a very cheap knife is that the liner would be very hard to push over, and it's not. It's not at all. You can see I can push it over with my index finger even. So very, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. I mean, there are some inexpensive knives that are better, but that's a pretty good rating for this. I would recommend it to friends and family, and you guys, if you do come across it, especially if you can find this for $10, definitely a good buy. So, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, and subscriber, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye.